I am TigTorial, and I am going to do a tutorial of City Connections levels 12 through 16. Each level will start out with a pan of the entire level. I will then go over different jumps that you have to do, certain routes that you have to take to get to certain platforms, but I am not necessarily going to give any sort of full strategy for the levels.
Level 12.
The hardest part about level 12 are the 3 equal length platforms. Once you can get on top of those, the rest of the level isn't so bad. You can get to the top of these 3 platforms by doing a middle jump from the platform either on the left or on the right. The most important thing to remember is to wait and jump as late as possible, otherwise you're not going to get to the top. When I try to do the jump from the right side, notice that I don't paint the edgemost tile, and then I miss getting to the top.
Don't let this be you. Jump from the edge.
If you end up falling off the top tier, it's possible to get back up by doing a backwards jump. It's just really hard. I get lucky and get it on my first attempt here, but then I miss it over and over and over and over.
Oh God, stop trying.
One other area that you may have trouble with is getting back to the starting platform. It isn't the actual jumps that are difficult, it's just that you have to do at least 2 forward jumps to get back up, and forward jumps are always more dangerous than if you can do a backwards jump. If you approach from the right side, you have to turn the car around to get back in position to go up to the middle platform, but other than that, there really isn't much of a difference, so do whichever one is best for routing or you're more comfortable with. It's possible to get back to the starting platform from one of the small sections, but it's just not likely to happen in a normal run, but in case it does, here's a video of it.
Forward jumps kill. Level 13.
Levels 13 and 14 are comparatively not that bad. Each one basically has 1 or 2 difficult jumps to do. The main jump is getting to a top tier platform that you can approach from the left or the right. In level 13, there's a top tier platform that you can get to from doing an up jump from the middle tier of the left side right at the start. You have a good amount of room to work with on the platform, so it's not a really hard jump. You can also get to the top tier by doing a jump from the right side. To do this, you'll need to get to the middle tier, do a turnaround all the way at the edge, and then jump as soon as you can to get up to the top tier. If you jump too late, you're going to hit the bottom of it with the top of your car. There is another method that I don't really recommend, but sometimes the routing does actually present itself to where this is the best method. Just remember, forward jumps kill. One other thing that might be worth mentioning is how to get back to the starting platform. You can either do an up jump from the middle row of the left, or do backwards jumps up the rows below it. Which you choose will come down to preference and also the routing of the level.
Level 14.
Level 14 is a lot like level 13. The big difference is that you can only get to the top platforms by jumping from the right side instead of the left and right. You can see in the video that I tried to jump from the left, but I don't even come close. What you need to do is get to the middle platform on the right side, turn the car around as far to the edge as you can, and then do an up jump to the top platform as quickly as you can. You can get to the top platform on the left from the platform on the right. That's the only way to get to it. Another way to get to the right top platform is similar to level 13, where you can do 3 up jumps from the right side. Again, I don't really recommend this, but if the routing is right, it could be the fastest way to go.
Or it could be an appointment with death.
But it can also be a kind of swag way to get to the starting row again.
Swag. Level 15.
Level 15 is probably the hardest level in the entire game. The platforms are more compact than in level 13 and 14, and so you start to really notice all the cars coming at you from every direction. There are several difficult platforms to get to in level 15, and there are a bunch of different ways that you can get to these platforms. Since level 15 is so complex, I'm going to show you an entire run-through of the level. The run is by no means an optimal route, and it's not actually a single continuous run. It's a collection of save states to get one good run. After that, we'll get into the jumps of the level. Again, this is not an exhaustive list of all the jumps that you can do. I also have a few clips of some jumps that I don't think are possible to do. I think that by seeing the entire run, seeing how to do the jumps and some of the jumps that you can't do, you should be able to get an idea of how the level works and begin to form a strategy of your own for it. I try to start the level out by clearing these top two platforms. They're harder to get up to, so if you can get them out of the way, it will help you out a lot. I then, when I finally do clear them, the edges are hard, I go down this middle two set, because I find that it's harder to get to than the right two set. Next, I decide to get the final upper platform out of the way. I don't really need to clear this middle platform that I get up to, since I will be getting up to it later, but I just wanted to get it out of the way. I have to do a backwards jump to get to the upper platform from that mid platform. I turn around so that I can knock out a few of the other small platforms that are easy to get to from that middle platform. I do a little cleaning up on the bottom, and I also knock out this other little platform. I'll talk about that platform a little more later on, but for now I'm going to go over and get to the two platforms that I purposefully avoided at the beginning. I just find that getting to these platforms from that right jump is easier than to get to the middle platforms from either the left or right side. Now the only thing I have left to do is to just clear the remaining tiles. So that's a run of the level. Now let's look at some specific jumps. First we'll look at this set of middle platforms in case you can't clear them on the initial journey down from the top row. I showed two variations of how you can get to them from the left side, but I would recommend that you get to them from the right side if at all possible. If you come from the left side, you have a shorter window of when you can do the preceding jumps to get to the middle platform, and you're going to land really far to the edge of the middle platform and have to turn around really quickly, or you're just going to fall off the edge. If you're coming from the right side, you need to be careful to jump pretty close to the edge of the lower platform, but if you get it right, it puts you in the perfect position to clear the entire platform without having to turn around. The jumps to get to the right platforms are easier than the jumps to get to the middle platforms, which is why I recommend clearing the middle platforms on your way down from the top. If you come from the left side, you just need to be careful to jump from the very edge of the lower platform. If you come from the right side, you have more room from when you want to do your jumps, but you're just more likely to have to do a turnaround on the platform to clear it completely. Next, we'll look at two ways to get to the main middle platform. The first is to come from the right, do an up jump, and then a backwards jump. Getting to the platform from the left side requires two up jumps, but you can do an additional third up jump or a backwards jump to get to the top row.
So many options to choose from. Which one to pick?
You can also get back to the top by adding a backwards jump to one of the jumps I showed you to get to the middle columns earlier. Similarly, if we look at the jumps that I showed you to get to the right column earlier, you can add an additional backwards or forward jump to get to the top platforms.
So much variety. Even more jumps? It's too much.
There are a lot of combinations you can use to get all over level 15, but there are also a few jumps that seem like they should work, but don't. If you want to do a backwards jump to get to this tiny platform, you have to be far enough to the left so that you actually land on the platform. You can't do a backwards jump from the right because you don't have enough room to get far enough away to avoid jumping completely over the platform. You might also think that you can get to either the middle or right set of platforms by doing a backwards jump from the lower tier, but you can't. You'll just go completely over the platform.
Level 16. I think I finally...
Level 16 is a lot simpler than level 15, but it can be just as difficult. If you fall off the top platforms before clearing them all, it can be really difficult to get back up. Like with level 15, it may be helpful to see an entire run of level 16 before getting into the jumps. Ideally, you want to clear all the top rows before going down to any of the lower rows. However, this can be difficult because of painting edge tiles and Oyama Cat. Even if you clear the top row before having to fall down, the level can still present many challenges. Most of these problems come from how short all the platforms are. You can only get to the middle platforms by doing a backwards jump from the lower platforms, except when you're near the single long platform. It is possible to jump from one middle-level platform to another middle-level platform, or one lower-level platform to another lower-level platform, but if you're dealing with the middle platform, you have to be really precise so that you have enough room to build up another jump. Jumping from one lower level to another lower level will usually require some backtracking, but that's pretty standard for any level. By stringing together save states, I didn't have to do too many backwards jumps, but that's not likely to happen in a real run. Realistically, you're going to need to do a set of 2 backwards jumps to get back to the top row during a normal run. To do one of these jumps, you need to start at the very edge of the lower platform, which you usually get to by turning the car around. You then want to do a backwards jump as late as you can from the lower platform while still making it to the middle platform. If you land early enough on the middle platform, you'll have enough room to build up another backwards jump to get to the top platform. The platform below the starting platform is long enough to do a forward jump followed by a backward jump to get back to the top. Forward jumps are riskier than backwards jumps, but if you're inconsistent with doing the double backwards jump, it may be riskier just being on the level longer. It's just something that you'll have to gauge and figure out for yourself. And that's it. That's all you need to know about levels 12 through 16. Well, it's at least enough to know to get started playing them. Playing the levels is the best practice, and the next best thing to practice is knowing which route you're going to take on any given level. Being familiar with the layouts of the levels is really the best advice I can give. Watching people play is also really helpful, so here's a list of people who are currently playing the game.
That Dr. Mustache is an up-and-comer. He's gonna beat Bismarck, I know it.
Special thanks to Link7777 for uncovering many of the mysteries of City Connection, and to Bismarck for introducing me to the game and letting me steal strats from him. And how could I not acknowledge the true legend of City Connection, who goes by many names: Random Cat, Oyama Cat, or
Liquor, Claw Man.